Welcome to episode 12. Today we're going to talk about mindfulness, and then also we're going to talk about using biofeedback to help with mindfulness. Now in episode 6, you got a glimpse a bit of using biofeedback as I was showing what the brain waves look like during exercise. And then in episode 10, I went into detail about what biofeedback is and some of the devices that you can get to help with biofeedback. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is the ability to be in the moment, to be able to focus all your thoughts and energies on one aspect, on one variable, on one sense. What is happening in the brain? They've done studies where they took a group, had them do 5 minutes of mindfulness for up to 5 weeks. And what they saw was a growth in the prefrontal cortex and a decrease in the limbic system. So the prefrontal cortex, that is the front part, and it's responsible for executive functioning, decision-making, problem-solving. A stronger prefrontal cortex, you're able to counter the negative emotional thoughts that are doing damage to your body. And then in the limbic system, that's responsible for your fight or flight or freeze, your stress response, and things like that. And they found that after 5 weeks of mindfulness, the limbic system and the amygdala in there began to shrink. The prefrontal lobe, the prefrontal cortex, actually had an increase in volume in that area. So if you are to do mindfulness in a dedicated way every day for 5 weeks, you are slowly going to strengthen your prefrontal cortex, make better decisions, and be able to counter the automatic stress response. But today what I'm going to show you, I'm going to wear an EEG, and I'm going to show you how when I do mindfulness, you'll see different brain waves. You'll be able to see what's going on in the brain. Because when you're in mindfulness, the alpha waves are going to increase, the beta waves will go down, and you will see theta waves are increasing because those are deep relaxation. In the next videos, I'm going to provide a lot of different ways that you can conduct mindfulness, because you can conduct mindfulness anywhere you are, every day, at any moment, because all you are doing is really putting all your focus on one sense and interpreting the situation. Mindfulness isn't always just focusing on one aspect, it's making sense of it and interpreting it, because our brains will automatically give a definition to everything we see. And most of that times it's a false definition. Our brain defines it based on our previous experiences. And a lot of times these previous experiences and thoughts are increasing our stress levels. So not only are you in the moment, you're making sense of that you're sensing. Mindfulness can also be conducted in stride with everything we see and interact with on a daily basis that causes stress. Let me show you right here with this little drawing. Let's say this is you. You're in the military, you have a plan of what you're going to do today. You hope everything just kind of glides smooth and you've been successful. But this is what really happens. You wake up early. Let's say you have a child that misses the bus. That causes an increased stress level. You begin to argue with your spouse. Who's going to take the kid to school? And you're thinking, I got to make formation. I'm going to be late. And then you start to argue. You get in your truck. You start to drive to work. Everything's going smooth. You're nice and relaxed. But then everyone's trying to get on the military base at the same time. You're having road rage. People are cutting you off. Some people don't even realize that they cut you off, but in your mind, you're interpreting that so, and you're having all this high stress response. Things start to drop down, and then everything's going good. You're having a good day, but then you and your coworkers start to argue over Biden and Trump and whatever is happening in the world. Stress response goes down, and then you're all upset, and you're upset for a while, and then things start to smooth out, and you finish your day. You can do in stride mindfulness, and that is where you are making sense of these situations, and you were looking at what is my brain interpreting the situation. My current interpretations healthy for me? So you begin to make sense of those feelings and think about it in stride, and then counter the negative thoughts and relax, and then things will become smooth. If you become successful at this, you can have a day that has minor ups and downs, and you just continue to bust through the day. Next few episodes, I'm going to give various examples of how mindfulness is effective, and I'm going to show you what's happening in the brain through mindfulness. And I'm going to be using my EEG in all of these examples so we can look at my brain waves. And I can show you how you'll see an increase in the theta waves and the alpha waves, which shows that this is actually working. Not only can I feel it, I can see the activity in my brain that proves that it's working. And so right now I'm going to do mindfulness where I'm only going to focus on the sound I hear of the clock in this room that's clicking. And put up here on the screen, you'll see the EEG results live of what's happening in my brain as I go into mindfulness, focusing on the sense of hearing, and I'm listening to the clock. Okay, so I was just doing that a little bit, and I'll rewind the video right there. You'll see as I dropped into it. The alpha waves are going above the beta waves, which is good, and you can see how the theta waves were going up as well. That shows that I was dropping effectively into mindfulness. It was working. Off the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight or freeze, increasing the parasympathetic nervous system, which was reducing the stress level. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode on understanding mindfulness and biofeedback. In the next episodes, we will do a whole variety of mindfulness, whether it's mindfulness drawing, mindfulness listening, mindfulness walking, and I will use biofeedback to show you how effective it is. And not only will we look at the EEG, we'll look at the heart rate as well, so you can see how mindfulness is actually lowering the heart rate.